Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of DeLuSioNaL's Arcade. So I was restoring a Pac joystick and it was bent up, and this is actually the final result. You can see the before here. So we're basically going to take this joystick here that's pretty much destroyed. I had to actually grind off the grommet because it was just fused on there with rust. And then we kind of took this, put it in a vise, did some new technique that I've learned, and we'll see if we can unbend it and restore it to kind of look like this at the end. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay, so I have my drill here and I'm going to put it inside the chuck. And you'll see right off the bat how it wobbles around. See that? Definitely crooked. You can see shaking like that. So yeah, it is definitely bent. So the tools I need, I'm going to use a vise. I'm going to use obviously the joystick shaft, and then this is a tool set that ScubaKing on KLOV actually turned me on to. It has these amazing like steel hardened, or basically hardened steel, and this is a little soft, so I won't straighten it out correctly, but if you sandwich it between these two, it should do a better job. I'm gonna use the biggest ones because I don't want it kind of moving around. And what I might do, I've tried holding it like this and trying to, you know, put it in and all that stuff, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to get everything to line up. So I was thinking maybe what I do, just put a rubber band around this maybe twice, maybe hold it in place, I'm not sure. And then I can kind of get it in between that like this, and then move it around as needed by turning it. So yeah, you could see, man, it's really hard to see without light, but when I turn it, it's kind of lifted above right there, and now it's flat, and then it's, you know. So let's put this in here. It's actually a good idea. I thought of it very last minute, this rubber band thing. Might not work as good. We'll see, we'll have to play it by ear. But right there, you can totally see the bend in that. And what I'm gonna do is try to hold it in place. Basically squeezing it together so that these two pieces, will try to unbend it. You can see that it's kind of lifted over here, and over here it's touching. So let me try squeezing it some more. Yeah, now it's touching. So I'm gonna back off on it. Man, there we go. And I'm going to see if I can just turn it. Let's just see. Yeah, it actually did unbend it a little bit. I'm going to do it again real quick here. I feel like with the rubber bands though, it's creating a bump where it's pressing stronger on this side than on this side, which is what I don't want. So, and then I'll be able to turn it. Yeah, I can see it's bent. It's not as bad as it was. It's still there though. Let me actually move that out, yeah. You see how it's slipping out? Doesn't help also that I don't have a proper vise that's mounted. So I have to keep sliding this back and forth to avoid the desk below. So now just kind of pushing on it, and I'll do it a little more. Man, I'm trying to get good leverage here and I can't. There we go. All right, so that looks pretty decent. It's still, I could see here it's touching this side. It's not touching that side. You can probably see it if I turn it like that. So anyway, I'm going to give it a little bit more of a squeeze. That's probably it, maxed out right there. Let me just lift it up. Yeah. All right, so now I'm just gonna go back on it. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna turn it a little bit, get a different angle, try to balance it while I put it in there. All right, let's try straightening it some more. But these things work great for the coin door. They worked amazing. So I'm trying to get a good angle without blocking the camera here. All right. That looks okay. Now I'm going to back off on it. I'm going to turn it a little bit. Okay. All right. That looks a lot better than it was. It might wobble a little bit with the drill test, I guess, but see that? It's more towards the top here. Which makes sense because it was probably sticking out. People just hit it with a hammer. I'm guessing they were trying to take out that frozen grommet and just messed everything up. Let's see. Yeah, see how it's going back and forth? It means because it's bent. All right. Well, you guys get the idea. I'm going to keep working on this, turning it, cranking it, turning it, cranking it, and I'll come back and let you see the results. All right, guys, we are back, and I found a pretty decent technique. So what's happening is the shaft, even though I have the two sides against it, it's not really doing much because the bottom shaft is actually smaller diameter than the top. So it kind of does this. It goes like this, and then inside and then out. It's kind of like a lightning bolt almost. So because of that, you can see here, I actually have it in there perfectly straight. However, this part over here is bent. So what I'm going to do is, these are super strong. I'm actually going to insert this over here and then start bending it. So I can kind of do this and push it this way. Got some leverage and I can see it bending back like it should. And I also took a marker also and I marked the part that was bent. And then this should work. See if I get a longer piece here, a little wider. Yeah, that's working really well. So I'm just bending it manually. And I might have to tighten it a little bit. Let me loosen it slightly. And then move this up. Okay, that's super tight. And then you can see here that I can't really, originally I was able to get it in here but not on the edge here. And now I can, which is good. These are all the same thickness, by the way, they're just different widths. So now I'm gonna, it's really hard to show you guys while I'm doing it. But basically I'm kind of pushing that way just to get the shaft a little bit straighter. You can see now I did it a little too much because I moved it more towards this side, so I'm going to do the opposite now. I'm going to stick this in here. It's hard to get it in, but these things are super strong. There we go. So that bent it a little bit. You can see right there. That's pretty centered to me. So now I'm going to take it out, kind of examine it a little bit, and then rinse and repeat. And I did put the rubber bands up here to hold it together because it kept falling. That looks actually pretty decent. Let me do the drill test here. a lot better than it was. Shakes a little bit, see? But it's not wobbling all over the place. I don't know. That looks good to me. I might just leave it at that and just throw some sandpaper on here, take it all out, clean everything up. And then I'll put it in again just to look at it one more time, nice and clean in the vise. So let me grab some sandpaper. I'm going to put this on the very tip here if I can manage it. That way we get the maximum coverage. So let me come back with some sandpaper. I'll probably get 60 grit, then 200 grit, then 400, and then polish it up with some Brasso or something. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got a few things. I got 3000 to finish it off on, 400, and then 220. So 220, if you only have 220, that's fine, but I'm going to try to polish it up really nice. I'm going to take a sheet of this. I probably don't need that whole thing. I'm not really sure. I usually don't. So I'm going to cut it. You know what? I'll cut it right in, almost in half here. And I'll use the longer side. And then I'll just move it up and down. And I'm going to put something underneath too, to kind of, because my workbench is getting super dirty all the time. Working on all this rust. So I should have a drop cloth that I use. Yeah, this is it here. I use this for stuff that doesn't matter. You could see there's like stains here from like oil and stuff when I worked on things. So that should be fine. All right, so I'm just going to put this right on the edge here and go to town. Way better. It's like night and day. So this is the difference I was telling you about. There's like a thing that goes down here, so when I would put the two flat sides, it would not work with this Mizpac joystick, so I had to use that method that I showed earlier where I'm prying it. But if you have a straight joystick, it should work just fine because the whole shaft is the same length or diameter all around. And then I think I need the other piece that I just cut. Where did it go? Here we go. Because I just need one that's shorter. So I'm going to cut this one smaller so I can fit in that little area there. All right, yep, that'll fit just fine. So let me try it. So far so good. You can see all the rust that's on there. I'm actually going to take that part off and just do it like this. Trying to get close to the edge here. Now it's shaking a little bit, just not as bad as I thought it was. Well, as it was originally, I should say. And you could see all that dirt just coming right off, which is why I use this cloth. That was 220. And then now I'm going to go to 400. Grab a piece of this here. I must have had this for ages here. All this sandpaper that I never really used. But it's coming in really handy now. So this is 400 grit. And now the tip, obviously, you'd have to do by hand, so I'm going to do that by hand. This one, I believe, yeah, so this is the 400, this is the 220, and this is the 3000. So you want to just, if you don't have a drill, you could do this the whole time. It's just Just make sure you rotate it like this and then back and forth, then rotate back and forth. That way you get everything. Okay, I'm going to take the 400. And now 3,000. That's what it said, right? Yep, it's a 3,000 for sure. It looks like 300 on the screen, but it's actually, yeah, there you go. All right. And you could see that these cuts that we made to get these things off right here, when the grommet was kind of fused on there, didn't really affect anything. Like you could see it where we cut into the metal a little bit, but it's not going to affect the joystick whatsoever. Should be good to go. And then we saved the joystick, which could have otherwise been thrown in the trash. All right, let me grab some brasso polish, a rag. I'll kind of clean my hands up. And then I'm also going to put probably some polish on the top of this just to make it look really good. I'll stick it in the drill chuck once more and then we'll get it polished up. Okay, I went and grabbed a whole bunch of stuff. So let me go ahead and we're done with the sandpaper. I'm just going to clean that up. But I did get some Novus, so it's really strange. It has 3 steps, right? You have the most coarse, then it gets refined a little bit, and then you have the shining one, which polishes it up. So it should be, in my opinion, 1, 2, 3, but instead they have it backwards where you start with 3, then you get with 2, and then 1. So I feel it's weird. They should kind of order it this way, in my opinion, because the first step would be to use this. But anyway, and then this is the shine, so I'm going to put this on the metal first. It's like an air bubble there. And I put way too much, but whatever. It is what it is. It's going to get soaked up. And I will put that on the bottom, but I'm going to back this out a little bit. Try to put it on the just the edge so it's not, so I can get more polish on there. Here we go. All right, and I'm going to turn it and do this. Okay. All right. That's fine. I'm actually going to take it off and manually do the other one, which is here on the bottom. And then I'll take on the other side and cleaning it off. Okay. We'll stick it back in. And then we'll use a different one to, actually I'm going to start with, I started with 1 by mistake, but you're supposed to start with 3. So I shook this pretty well. This one I think is this brown or is it the next one? No, this one's more of a white. And you're just going to kind of just get it everywhere, put it on, and then that's it. You're just polishing up the ball here. This will kind of get all the dirt off and grime, and it's kind of like gritty. All right, I'm gonna get that taken off. All right, stage 2 would be the brown one, I think. This one is a little not as thick. I'm gonna put it over here, and we'll do the same thing. Get it all over it here. All right. Put some more. And this is less, it's more fine, it's less coarse. So that kind of removes a lot of that haze, but it'll still be hazy when you're done. Awesome. And then let me clean that one off. All right, and then the last step where I can probably do this to get the other side that's nice and clean. And then usually I'll spray this directly onto whatever I'm doing just to get a lot on it. It's kind of like a, not like a white haze to it, but it's kind of clear. And then you want to polish that into it. Usually comes off a lot. You have to kind of saturate. I'm going to saturate this a little bit. And then put more on here. All right, now the other side, I'm going to try to find a dry area. Yeah, this part's dry. Nice and shiny. And it still has that texture, which is awesome. So this is a restored misback joystick. So, okay, so that does it for this episode. Looks like we have everything pretty much perfect at this point. Looks really nice, nice and polished. And thanks again, ScubaKing, for recommending that tool with the hardened steel, which I will put in the link in the description, by the way, if you guys want to buy it. I won't put a link to like sandpaper. Obviously, you can get that. Honestly, you could probably just use 220 grit on this or 200 grit and it would be fine without protecting it with anything. You know, it'll take off the rust, which you're kind of doing it a favor already, but I always like to kind of coat it with some sort of protectant, and Bright Boy is the one that I use, but there's all kinds of tarnish remover for silver, brass, copper, steel, aluminum, all that kind of stuff, but I'll put a link to that in the description too. I bought that once and I've had it pretty much a lifetime of arcade collecting, so it's a tool that I use a lot. To polish up coin doors and also, you know, shafts and stuff like that for joysticks. And then I'll also have a link for Novus 1, 2, and 3. That thing has lasted me probably, these have lasted like 10 years and they're probably only like, I don't know, 1/4 used. They just don't spoil. You just shake them up and they just work. So love this stuff. You know, I've had this for years. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description for that. That way you just can have it. It's a great tool to use. I use it all the time to polish up all kinds of stuff. Joysticks being one of them, but you know, other things as well. So that's it. If you guys like what you see, you know what to do. But at this point, I guess I will see you guys in the next one. And also, I'll probably have this up on Instagram. So check out Instagram. I have some restoration videos coming up. For now, I just did this video quickly for Charlie at Overtime Arcade, because he was asking what tools I use, and I'm in the middle of a restoration for a mispack. There's a hint for you guys. But I just wanted to show him this little portion right here. Get this out for you guys. You can kind of comment below. But yeah, I'm doing another restoration video, which I'm pretty much editing at this point. It's almost all done. I have to do, I think, the monitor, which I might do on a live stream. I'm not really sure yet. My schedule is just always crazy. So yeah. So hit me up on Instagram. It's at Del's Arcade at Instagram. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can find me there, same thing, at Del's Arcade. And yeah, shoot me an email if you want, delsarcade@gmail.com, whatever you want to do, and I'll see if I can help out. But this thing came out awesome. I'm really happy with the technique, and thanks again to ScubaKing on KLOV, who kind of told me what to do with that metalwork tool that you can get with the hardened steel. So I'll put a link definitely in the description for that for Amazon. And I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.